Well, we gotta do it. We gotta go out there and continue talking about the Montreal Canadiens and their Stanley Cup playoff berth. Now, the regular season has come to an end. And the Habs are only one of 16 teams to have qualified for the playoffs, a mark that I honestly don't think many Canadiens fans, myself included, were really projecting as a legitimate possibility for this team. Not to mention the fact that around the start of December, the Canadiens were literally one of the two worst teams in the NHL in terms of points. It's kind of crazy to see them go from 31st overall to making the playoffs just a few months later. All they needed was a spark, man. And I guess some pretty good win streaks in the mix there too. But ultimately, the Montreal Canadiens, after playing like their heads were on fire after the Four Nations Face-Off tournament, had themselves a little bit of a lull towards the end of the regular season where they had numerous chances to clinch, but unfortunately fell and lost 3 games in a row before finally clinching in their last game of the year against the Carolina Hurricanes. The Habs had a bit of a hiccup in the road there, but they still were able to finish the season strong. But now, turns out that Gary Bettman and the folks up there who make the schedule for the Stanley Cup playoffs are smiling at the Habs from the suites above because we now have ourselves the playoff schedule. Marco D'Amico tweeted this out yesterday. Game 1, Habs versus Washington, is going to be on Monday, April 21st at 7 p.m., so 4 p.m. my time. Game 2's Wednesday, April 23rd. Game 3 on Friday, April 25, followed up by the 27th, the 30th, May 2nd, and then May 4th. These will be the games, and we will see whether or not the Canadiens have what it takes to compete against a hot goal scorer in Alex Ovechkin. He just reached .897 the other day, so congrats to Ovi for doing what he has been doing. But I wanted to turn your attention to the start of everything, because the Habs are not going to be playing today on Friday. They're not going to be playing on Saturday nor Sunday. They have to wait 5 days past their win against the Carolina Hurricanes on Wednesday. You go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. That's 5 days worth of a rest. And Marco D'Amico went out there and said this on Twitter too. One positive thing about the Habs starting their series on Monday is the 4 days of rest. Of all the teams qualified for the playoffs, no team was more burnt out than the Canadiens looked down the stretch. They were dynamite after the Four Nations. Let's see what happens now. And I'm not going to go out there and say that because Montreal was so good after the Four Nations break, you had all these guys sitting out because, some pretty significant names did not end up making their teams, but the Canadiens were shot out of a cannon after that Four Nations Face-Off tournament, and they were one of, if not just the best teams in the league, hottest teams, momentum-based teams. They were going. And we recognize that they did get burnt out towards the end. The multiple losses and the kind of doom and gloom that Habs fans were feeling when the Canadiens were losing their games and Columbus was just winning everything, that was a pretty significant feeling, and I don't want to dismiss that at all. It is certainly indicative of something going on with the Canadiens, but essentially, because Montreal was in a spot where they kind of looked burnt out and they were not really gelling as well as they had right after the Four Nations break, you could make the argument that, okay, firstly, yes, the Canadiens need rest. 4-5 days of not doing any extreme hockey. Sure, you're practicing, sure, you're getting to the rink, but you're not being subjected to the wear and tear of a National Hockey League game. 82 games is a lot after all, but you're going to have multiple days worth of rest of not having that physical toll. And then, guess what? You're playing off in the Stanley Cup playoffs against Washington. You literally have nothing to lose. You're going up against the best team in the Eastern Conference this year. Say what you want about some of the players and the narrative surround them. Oh, Pierre-Luc Dubois is a locker room cancer. Oh, Jacob Chychrun is weird. Oh, you could say all these things, but that team knows how to freaking play. And the Habs have absolutely nothing to lose here. Look, I'm gonna say they're gonna lose. Like, that was my prediction. I think the Habs are probably gonna lose in 5. I'd love to be proven wrong. I don't want to see the Habs get swept. Sorry. But I'd love to be proven wrong. If the Canadiens go out there and take the momentum they had gained from resting and just building off of that fan base passion that's been bleeding so much throughout this city, then if the Canadiens decide to take Washington to a 6 or 7 game series and they edge out a victory, that would be absolutely insane. There's a huge opportunity here for Montreal to use these days' worth of rest to their advantage. And the reason I say it's a gift is because it very well could not have been that way. The playoffs start on Saturday. Tomorrow, you've got St. Louis, Winnipeg, Colorado, Dallas, and then on the 20th, you've got a whole bunch of Eastern teams going at it. The Canadiens do not start their series until the 21st on Monday. They'll be playing their Game 1 the same day that St. Louis and Winnipeg are playing their Game 2. Edmonton, LA is also resting up too, which I think plays hand in hand with the NHL just giving Edmonton a bit more time to breathe here because of the injuries sustained to Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. I'm not saying that's exactly it. I'm just saying coincidentally it fits that sort of thought process where it's like, hey, yeah, the Oilers don't start until Monday either. Seems like the NHL's given them a break. But Montreal, their break is not really because their top guys, the top 2 centers in the team are hurt like Edmonton's. It's just, oh yeah, it happens to be that way. Also, the team just needs to get some rest. So, do you think this actually does have a significant impact on the way the series is going to be played? You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Marco D'Amico brought it up on Twitter. I wanted to go out there and dive into that because seeing the Canadiens rejuvenated, seeing them energized, feeling good about their bodies and about their game and about how their systems are going, with Ivan Demidov hopefully playing with a little bit more flair, because in the previous game he was benched for the 3rd period. It wasn't really great. Kind of shades of Roman Rottenberg there for the young Russian. If he can have a Cole Caulfield-like 2021 North Division year playoffs impact like how Caulfield did 4 years ago, then oh my gosh, the Canadiens are absolutely in for some entertaining and exciting hockey. The Ovi versus Demidov show is going to rage on here. And I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below if you think that the Monday start time really is a gift from Gary Bettman to the Habs in this way. The last time the Habs received a gift, they took it and they ran. It was Rod Brind'Amour starting all of his depth AHL guys in that game against Montreal and sitting out Seth Jarvis, Sebastian Aho, Jacob Slavin, so many of their main guys. The Habs took that gift, they accepted it, and they cashed it in. Will they do the same with this scheduling gift at the hands of the NHL game setters? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this British Ashroll 99. And bye.